Good evening, Europe. Good morning, Australia. I'm Irem Elbir. I'm from Turkey and currently a PhD candidate at Eurovision Song in Germany. But before I was a researcher, I was a girl glued to a television screen. Maybe I'm still. I've never forget 2003 when Sertab Erener won. I wasn't just watching, I was living every second of that voting cycles. For many people in Turkey, that moment felt like a formal invitation to the another stage. Since then, I've been a super fan and not just of the big finals. I'm the person who tracks the national selections of other countries. And this kind of obsession actually changed my life. Eurovision became a gateway to new cultures and musicians I would have never found otherwise. It's the reason I started to learn Danish. Okay, maybe those Nordic crime series helped too, but it started with music. And if I can ever conquer the beast, that is the German language right now, I'm headed straight for Portuguese next, hopefully. um, Music has incredible way of making you want to speak the language of the person singing. And my academic life has always followed my ears. My master thesis was about Turkish rap music, focusing on the rhythm of the streets. But for my PhD study, I shifted my lens towards something more ghostly. I studied the relation between nostalgia and popular music through the lens of authoritarianism in Turkey. This is where Eurovision comes back into the picture. As you might know, Turkey hasn't participated in the contest for 14 years. Since the state broadcaster withdrew in 2012, Eurovision has transformed from a live TV show into what I call a spectral presence in Turkish society. And this specific study I'm sharing is just a small part of my PhD thesis. So, what's the problem? Officially, the state gave technical excuses about voting rules to justify leaving the contest. But my research argues that the exit wasn't just about points, it was a direct result of the rising authoritarianism in the country. And the contest didn't fit the state's new direction, but here is the interesting part. You can pull the country of a physical stage, but you can pull the stage of the people's hearts. For many Turkish people, the Eurovision years have become a golden age of Turkey. So it's a way of remembering an old Turkey. Um, so how did I look into this? I went to the digital ruins. I've been analyzing spaces like YouTube and X or Twitter. I'm looking at affective publics, so online communities that gather around archival footage of past Turkish Eurovision entries. When you look at the comments, these people aren't just fans, they are creating a digital counter archive. In this context, Eurovision acts as a relic. It provides a sense of community for those who feel nostalgic for the good old days and uses the contest digital afterlife as a tool to critique the current authoritarian climate. And finally, my study shows that the social impact of media events doesn't end when a country leaves the stage. I will call this as phantom stage, which is very much alive in the digital world, and it tells us so much about resistance today. I'm so excited to share these findings and dive deeper into these digital memories with all of you. Thanks for listening and see you soon, or as they say, 12 points go to, well, hopefully, this research. Bye.